and welcome to Cooking with Attezel. Today we're going to be making a keto-friendly protein turkey bowl. It's going to be fantastic, so stay tuned. All right, the base for our protein keto-friendly turkey bowl is going to be cauliflower. You just want to start with the whole head, and then what you're going to do is take a small paring knife, just go right into the center of the core, work your way around very gently. Careful, pay attention to what you're doing, you don't want to lose a finger. And then you're just going to be able to pop out this core. From that point, you can pull off all the little leaves that come along with it. And then you can simply start breaking off chunks of cauliflower. We're gonna steam this, so just cut away. You wanna make sure to get all these little leaves off of there. And then if you see any little brown spots, anything that you find displeasing, go ahead and get rid of those. Now, cauliflower mash is absolutely amazing. It's a good way to trick your kids into eating what they think may be mashed potatoes. And it's tasty and delicious, low in carbs. I'm gonna go ahead and get this chopped up, and then we're gonna steam this and move on to our next ingredient. So, next we're gonna steam our cauliflower. There are several different ways you can do this to reduce your prep time, and also if you don't have a steamer. I do believe they have vegetable steaming bags in grocery stores now. Also, if you don't want to cut up the cauliflower, you can buy pre-cut cauliflower. Just know it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So I washed my cauliflower well. I'm just going to add it to my steam basket here. And fill it up, stack it up, and then we're just gonna let it steam. Sometimes you can add salt to your water. I generally don't. I salt it afterwards simply because I like to salt it afterwards. So, got one bunch in there. We're gonna go ahead and throw the second steamer rack right on top. And then we're going to put the rest of our cauliflower into the top. All done. And then put the steamer top on top. You're gonna be able to smell this when it's cooked, so you don't really have to worry about keeping an eye on the time if you are concerned about it. Give it about 8 minutes, and then check it with a fork for tenderness. You want it to be nice and soft. On to the next. So we're gonna roast some cherry tomatoes. I got larger size cherry tomatoes, so they're gonna be bite sized. It's a very simple process. We're just gonna have them, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna cook them to maximize the flavor and get a nice roast on it. I'm just gonna chop these up, skip to the fun part, and we're gonna keep going. All right, now that we've got our cherry tomatoes halved, we are gonna salt them. And the other reason I like to cut them in half is when you cut them in half, you can see the inside of the actual tomato. If there's any brown, any discoloration, anything that would be displeasing, you wanna go ahead and remove that tomato and go on to the next one. All of these came out really nice, so nice. So I'm just gonna lightly tap salt over all of these cherry tomatoes, and then we're gonna put a little bit of pepper on them, and then the way we're gonna cook them is face down in some hot olive oil. We are golden. So we're gonna put some heat on this olive oil, and we're gonna put our tomatoes in. All right, so you can always tell your olive oil is nice and hot when it rolls around nicely in the pan. This is a non-stick pan, but I like the olive oil anyway. Put your tomato face down. You're gonna let these cook for about 5 to 6 minutes, or until they get a nice little brown caramelization around the edges. So a couple of reasons I put the tomatoes face down. It'll prevent all the juices from running out into the pan. And also you get a really pretty finish like so. So you can take a spatula and flip your tomatoes over. See how they have a nice tenderness? Oh, it's gonna be so good. All right. Time to check on our cauliflower. Our tomatoes are roasting nicely over there. We can just pull this off the top and kind of stab your cauliflower. That's got a great softness to it. It's breaking off right into the knife. I think we're good to go. Whew, you can see the steam coming off this steamed cauliflower. All right, I have hot hands. I would recommend using pot holders. So we're simply gonna put our cauliflower into a bowl. Always make sure you have a clean counter in case you spill so that you can put it back in the bowl. All right, I'm gonna put a little salt and a little pepper on our cauliflower. If you don't do dairy, do not use butter. If you don't take issue with dairy, use butter and olive oil. It's gonna impart a much nicer flavor into your cauliflower mash. It's gonna give it that rich butteriness that you really wanna get going. So we're gonna start with just a little bit of olive oil. And then we're gonna put a nice pot of butter in as well. I think I'll start with about a tablespoon. Looks about good to me. Alrighty, we can always add more. Now, blender stick, fabulous tool. If you don't have one, you can use your food processor, blender, NutriBullet. All right, let's get to that. All right, we're gonna give our cauliflower mash a little taste here just to make sure we seasoned it properly. Again, you can look at the consistency and it's somewhat like mashed potatoes, actually very much like mashed potatoes. Just wanna make sure you get a nice blend. So, let's check this out. I'm gonna need a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter because butter makes everything better. And with keto, you can do butter all you want. When looking for zucchini, you want to find a nice, fat, juicy zucchini. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna cut our zucchini now. When you get your zucchini, you want to get similar size zucchini so that your cuts are gonna turn out about the same. That's very important for cooking. Now, there are several different ways you can cut your zucchini. Me personally, because I like to eat with my eyes, I like to have a pretty cut on my zucchini. So I'm gonna take off both of the ends. And then I'm gonna cut my zucchini down the center. And then I'm gonna turn my zucchini, place them together, and I'm gonna do a diagonal style cut. So I'm gonna get rid of that piece. I'll do them one by one. And just use nice, even knife strokes so you get all the way through. Because remember, it's all about how this looks. Take that zucchini, pop it right into a pan that has some olive oil in it. I'm gonna cut the rest of this up, and we're gonna get finished. Oiled pan. You're gonna hear a nice little sizzle when you put it in. Use a bamboo wooden stick. Go ahead and poke it around. You want to put salt and pepper and oregano on your zucchini. It really gives it a very nice flavor. Remember, don't salt too much. You can always add more later if need be. This cooks very, very quickly because of the way we cut it. So, you're just gonna let that go, push it around a little bit. You want to get fancy with it, flip it around like so to evenly coat it. back down. Let her go. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 onions 2 different ways for 2 different reasons. We are gonna do red onion to match the colors of the zucchini and the tomatoes and give everything a nice bright color. And then we're also going to do white onions or yellow onions, whichever your preference is, to put inside of the ground turkey. I'm gonna slice these up, then I'm gonna caramelize them, and we're gonna keep going. So for our white onion, we're gonna dice this onion. Dicing is super easy. Just go along, cut down to the very end, but don't cut too far, otherwise you'll have that happen. And then you're simply gonna cut close so that you have a nice diced onion. Now that we've got a nice color on our zucchini, we're gonna go ahead and brighten up this zucchini just another notch. And the way we're gonna do that is by introducing just a little bit of fresh squeezed lime juice. This is gonna elevate the flavor of your zucchini and add another layer of flavor to your bowl. Give that a little stir, good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and throw our red onions right into a pan. Same concept here, salt, pepper, and you're gonna let these caramelize. All right, so I went ahead and diced up the mushrooms a little bit. They're one of my favorite vegetables. They do have a lot of water, so you're probably gonna have to drain them before you put them in your bowl. These are also a nice meat substitute if you're vegetarian, like my husband. He's gonna get a veggie bowl, and I'm gonna have a turkey bowl. All right. Time to cook our last portion, our turkey. I just dumped the mushrooms out, so there's still a little bit of mushroom juice in there. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this turkey right on in. And wash my hands, and then it's time to season it, baby. All right, so we've browned our meat just a little bit beforehand, then we reintroduced our yellow onions that we had chopped and sauteed earlier. You want to get a nice brown on your meat. See how there's still a nice amount of juice in there? You don't want dry meat. So once you get a good brown, turn your heat down to low. We're gonna let this go for just a few minutes to make sure it's cooked. We'll do a taste test, and then it's time to make our bowl. Now that we've completed all of the cooking for the day, it is time to make our bowl. For all intents and purposes, I'm using glass just to make things easier to see. First, we're gonna start with our ground turkey and our sauteed onions. We're gonna put this right on the base of the bowl. Next, we are going to add our cauliflower mash, which can also double as mashed potatoes if you want to give your kids vegetables instead of potatoes, or cauliflower rather. So we're gonna put that right on top. Our next layer is gonna be our sauteed mushrooms. Thirdly, we're gonna gently place some of our zucchini right on in there. Blistered tomatoes. We wanna put these face up. And lastly, we're gonna top it off with some of our caramelized red onions. All done. Who's ready to try some?
It's good.
Thank you for joining me on Cooking with Attezel. I had my trusty sidekick and best friend, Mary, taste test our turkey protein keto bowl. I hope you enjoy the recipe and join us again. Bye.